So we are back yet again with the work from home starter kit, if you will. And so I've got another key solution on how you can be masterful in working from home. So if you'll take a few moments to listen to me, let's get into the work from home starter kit yet again. Let's get into the content of this video. All right. So as I mentioned in the intro of this video, we are back yet again to be able to continue our conversation, if you will, around how to work from home effectively, in which we've entitled this series, the Work From Home Starter Kit. On our last episode, we talked about how do you go about finding your flow when it comes down to being able to make sure that you have a routine, as well as also being able to have, if you will, a method of navigating your time. And so on this episode, I want to be able to talk about how do you truly make your pad your lab. So once again, how do you make your pad your lab? And so what I mean by that is being able to have the right tools you need in order to be effective when it comes to making your home an effective workplace in this time frame. So all of us are in the midst of, if you will, evolving, recovering, rebounding, being able to adapt to living in this life, either currently in the midst of the pandemic or possibly as we are progressing out of the pandemic. And so you now are working from home. And so let's talk about a few things that you want to make sure that you're investing in when it comes to being able to, if you will, successfully work from home. So one thing you want to make sure that you're able to have is that you have a dedicated workspace, making sure that there is some particular area in your area in which you live that you dedicate as your workspace. For those that are ideal, it would be actually a spare room or a spare area in your home. If you don't have that particular room when it comes to where you currently live, is that maybe you are very deliberate about making sure that there's a certain space in your home that you're able to therefore dedicate for work. Ideally, it should be a space to where you can have some form of table or some form of, if you will, desk that you can be able to place there, as well as also that it is a place where you're able to actually stay awake. I know that sounds funny, but seriously, that you're able to stay awake and you're also able to stay alert when it comes to being able to successfully work. All right. The next thing you want to make sure that you have is you want to make sure that you have proper lighting. So one of the things that has happened over the past few years, which I think is absolutely great, is that if you go about into your regular stores, so your Walmart, your Target, your grocery store, your hardware stores, is that there is certain lighting called, if you will, cool daylight white. Cool daylight white. And so I definitely would challenge you that if you can, in whatever lighting fixture that you have, whether that's your overhead lights, a lamp, whatever the case may be, is that you use cool daylight white lighting, if you will, in that area. The reason for that is twofold. Number one, it allows you to have a very clear and radiant light that you're able to see. But then on the second reason is that it provides a light that will, if you will, train your brain and train your mind that it is time to get up, it's time to get at it, it's time to work. And so you want to make sure that you have the right lighting in your particular workspace. All right, so the final thing we'll talk about for today is that let's talk about when it comes to being able to have the right seating. And so one of the things that we've noticed in this particular era is that a very hot commodity is being able to have a really nice computer chair, in which I absolutely, if you have the budget for that, absolutely say go for it. Make sure that you find a chair that works for you. But for those that may not have the budget for that, that's perfectly fine. What I would suggest is being able to start with, at bare minimum, if you have a chair that you usually use for eating in the kitchen or that you have in your dining room or that maybe even you have in your bedroom that has a very, if you will, strong back. So right now, this is a wooden chair I'm sitting in that has a strong back to give you lumbar support. And then if you don't have a cushioned seat, which this one actually doesn't, that you just be able to provide yourself a brief cushion to be able to sit so that as you're doing your work for a long period of hours, that you have that support, but also that you're able to navigate being able to have some form of cushion as you're working. I wouldn't necessarily suggest being able to do your work in a recliner or a sofa just because of the fact that there's going to be the temptation and the tendency to slouch and or possibly lie down, which for a limited period of time is great, but when it comes to being able to get work done over a longer period of time, it's going to be more problematic. All right, so there you have it when it comes to how do you go about making your pad, if you will, your lab, your ideal workspace. Number one, being able to make sure that you have a quality dedicated workspace. So whether that's a room, whether that's a particular area in your home that you know when I need to work, this is where I go. Number two, making sure that you have the proper lighting. So making sure that you have those cool daylight whites so that you can know that you're up and you're ready and you are the individual ready to go to work. And then number three, making sure that you have the proper seating. So make sure you have a chair that gives you the proper, if you will, lumbar support for your back as well as your spine, but also provides you just enough comfort so that you're not completely, if you will, uncomfortable when it comes to the work that you do. All right? So I hope this video has been a great blessing and benefit to you. Type in the comments, have you already dedicated a workspace that's specifically for your actual work? Do you have that lighting that I referenced? What is your seating like when it comes to you doing work? Also, if you enjoyed the content of this video, go ahead and click a thumbs up to show that you like this video, as well as we would love for you to be a part of our Where's Nears Network, So go ahead and click on that subscribe button, as well as also click on that get notifications bell, so you'll be the very first to know about the content that we produce each and every single week. Well, I'm DC Howard. I am the care coach that stands for Career and Relationship Excellence. I want to be your care coach as well. And I just want to thank you once again for being able to watch this episode. And I look forward to seeing and speaking with you soon.